Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome everyone to our October the 10th, 2022 Winston-Salem Forsyth County Utility Commission meeting. Call the meeting to order. So I guess the first item on the agenda is approval of the minutes. We'll kind of go down through this later. So, oh yeah, roll call. That's right. Every time. Present.
Vice Chair Chris Parker.
Present.
Commissioner Simpson Brown.
Present.
Commissioner Harold Eustache. Commissioner Tom Griffin.
Here.
Commissioner Yvonne Hines.
Here.
Commissioner Hugh Jernigan.
Present.
Commissioner Dwayne Long.
Present.
Commissioner Charles Wilson.
Present.
Commissioner Alan Younger.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Deb. Courtney.
Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. We have a short agenda today, so I'm going to share my screen. Okay, I'm assuming that everybody can see that. Just a couple of announcements, and then we'll get right into our agenda items. So current announcement, I've just been keeping you up to date on our departmental vacancies. We currently have 84 vacancies, so it just keeps on, it just keeps going up. I don't remember this ever being that, our vacancies being this high. We're working with HR to do recruitment options, looking at retention options, and it's just the environment we're in. I think it's just this is the way it is in a lot of different industries, but we are still trying to be creative with how we are filling those vacancies. There's a booth at the International Village Food and Music Festival that will be at Corporating Plaza on October 15th. And then I wanted to make the commission aware that we're going to have a new member orientation for some of our new members, and Mr. Wilson that did not get a proper orientation when he joined in 2020. But I will say that I'll open it up to anybody else that's interested. If you wanted a refresher, it's going to be November 1st, 1 to 4 in the afternoon. So we'll start at Bryce Stewart Building, where we go through just a brief introduction to the department and what we do. And then we'll go visit the Thomas Water Treatment Plant and the Haynes Mill landfill. So today you got a tour of the wastewater treatment plant. So in the orientation, we'll just do the water treatment and then the landfill. But let me know if you're interested in joining that. I do have to give proper advertisement if there's so many of you there. So I will need to know kind of how many plan to come. Okay. And with that, we'll just jump right into our agenda items. The first item is approval of the minutes from September's meeting. The second item is a consideration of a resolution authorizing execution of various agreements regarding proposed water and sanitary sewer improvements with various developments. There's a list of the developments on this month's agenda. The total estimated water cost is $1,383,100. And the estimated sewer cost is $1,308,670. Yeah, for developer projects. Okay.
Cost we paid on that.
Right, exactly. Okay, item 3 is a resolution authorizing acquisition of easements by deed or condemnation for the Fiddler's Creek Outfall Replacement Project. So I've got a map up on the screen. This is, if you remember, we had another item on last month's agenda with the first round of easements. This is kind of the next phase of the easements needed for this project. This project is for a sewer outfall that's reached its maximum capacity, and it needs to be replaced with larger pipes. So the easement acquisitions that are shown in the attachments in your book are in the amount of $56,225. And the map shows just the project limits of where the outfall will be located. Item 4 is a resolution approving an engineering agreement for construction administration services for the Fiddler Creek Outfall Replacement Project. It's related to the previous item. This is, again, for the outfall that needs to be replaced with larger pipes because of the capacity issue. The commission awarded a contract in 2020 for the design and bidding of this project to Hazen and Sawyer. The design is complete, and actually the utility commission awarded a construction contract to Park Construction in the amount of $14,551,411.70 at last month's meeting. So this item is for the construction administration services that is provided by the design engineer. We've negotiated a fee of $1,123,000 for these services. Any questions about that? Again, there's the map for this project. The next 3 items are for treatment, so I'm going to turn it over to Bill.
Okay, thank you, Courtney. Item number 5 is consideration of a resolution awarding a contract for the 65 West Pump Station emergency repairs. On January 31st, a failure occurred at the 65 West Pump Station, resulting in damage to the infrastructure. Black & Veatch was retained to evaluate the damage, develop a scope of work, prepare bidding documents, and perform construction administration. And Courtney has some slides on the monitor. The surge valve on the right, the pipe blew out below the floor. And if you see that line that extends from left to right, it's probably about the middle of the screen. That's where the floor was. There was so much water. You can see on the left-hand side, the water coming out the front door. That's what the mechanics found when they arrived on the scene. So all that water was actually going out the front door and out the back of the station, which it caused the floor to collapse. So this project is to repair all the damage from that failure. It is an insurance claim. We don't know how much of this the insurance is going to cover, but just so you're aware of that.
Bill, how old is the equipment? I mean, what age are we looking at?
1980s.
So it's been there a while.
Yeah. And it's still in good functioning condition. We had the pumps assessed. We had the motors assessed because the water level did get, well, the piping is actually on the discharge side. And unless there's something under slab that we don't know about, it looks like everything above ground is okay.
Okay. Did the pipe pull apart, break? What do we know?
That's what it appears. It appears the connection where that surge valve met the main is where it's separated and came apart. So water was actually coming in from both the 1090 pressure zone and back from the tank from the 1140. So it was actually coming to the end of the station from 2 directions. Yeah.
Anything unusual with pressures at that particular time that we noticed?
This actually occurred the same day that the Weaver fire occurred. And there was a lot going on in the system that day. But without going into a very detailed hydraulic scenario, which we probably wouldn't be able to ascertain anything from anyway, just because we can't recreate what was happening with the fire department.
Right.
We don't know if it contributed to this or not.
We think it happened around 11 that night.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the fire started sometime that evening. And then the fire department obviously was using a lot of demand on the system, and this happened about 11.
Yeah.
Tell everybody where West 65 is.
It is in Bethania. It's, does everybody know where Muddy Creek Mill is in Bethania? It's not too far from there. It's on Highway 65 right as you exit.
Right, good distance from the Weaver.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, it's not like right next door. It is right.
So, so here's some more. Yeah, basically filled the station with mud, and that gravel you see on the right picture is from the underneath the slab that got washed out.
So the pumps piping, everything else seems to be okay. It's just, it's the superstructure, it's the floor and the possible walls and stuff that you gotta deal with, or is it the pumps also?
No, the pumps seem to be in good condition. We had them pull the motors and we took them to Henry's and had them evaluated, make sure that no water got into them and they're good. Pumps, by all indications, seem to be fine. There doesn't seem to be any issues with the piping above slab, but until we get below that slab and can see what's going on, we won't really know.
So how are we handling the loss of this pump station right now since it's not in operation?
Well, there's a second station. We call it 65 East, and it supplies the pressure zone. They typically will operate one or the other on a weekly basis. We kind of rotate them to make sure that we keep the run hours even. So we've got a second station. We have an emergency generator that we purchased not for this reason, but to have as a backup in case we had a pump station that had a failure with the generator. We've hooked it up at that second station, so we have backup power. So that's how we're supplying that zone right now. But is that your question? Okay.
So we don't want to keep this down too long because
Correct. RJ Reynolds is our biggest customer in that zone, and we try to make sure that we have them covered.
and Ms. Hines.
Absolutely.
That's the most important.
I did not know that, but I do now.
How long will that take to, once they start work?
We anticipate, well,
6 years.
we're hoping less than 12 months. It all depends on the electrical components. If we can get them. So MWE goals were set for this project, and they were established at 9 for minority-owned businesses and 5 for women-owned businesses. Gilbert Engineering Company was the apparent low bidder. However, after review of their good faith efforts, they did not meet the MWE goals. So it defaulted to the next lowest bidder, which was Laughlin Sutton Construction Company. And after review of their good faith efforts, it was determined by the committee that they met the goals, or they met the good faith effort to achieve the goals. So it is recommended that the contract for 65 West Pump Station emergency repairs be awarded to Laughlin Sutton Construction Company. And a total base bid of $1,379,000, with $70,000 available for contingency if needed. The engineer's estimate for this project was $1,177,804. Do you have any more questions on that one? Okay. 6 is consideration of a resolution awarding a contract for makeup area unit replacement at the Elledge wastewater treatment plant. City County Purchasing Division advertised bids to replace HVAC and makeup area units at the Elledge wastewater plant. Bids were received on August 2nd. This project was advertised as a formal purchase with installation, so no subcontracting opportunities were available. Therefore, MWB subcontracting goals were not established. It's recommended the contract be awarded to Professional Air Systems LLC with the base bid amount of $89,690, accepting all ad alternates for $134,320 for a total of $224,010. Any questions on item 6? Item 7 is consideration of a resolution awarding a contract for Muddy Creek minor plant improvements. The City County Purchasing Division advertised for these improvements. These are items that were removed from scope from a previous contractor on site and repair items damaged during the flooding of the headworks facility during construction and process and improve process make some process improvements in miscellaneous site works, excuse me. So all bids exceeded the engineer's estimate of $569,981. So the low bidder was Gilbert Engineering, so the city entered into negotiations as allowed by North Carolina General Statute 143-29B to bring the project within funds available. The value engineering effort agreed, both parties resulted in a cost savings of $119,566. MWBE goals were established at 13% for minority-owned businesses and 9% for women-owned businesses. Gilbert Engineering's original bid included MWB and WBE participation at 28.1%, 9.3% respectively. However, with the renegotiation of the scope, that changed the percentages to 31.6% for the minority-owned and 4.5% for the women-owned, respectively, because their original bid met the intent of the MWBE program. It is deemed that their bid is responsive. So it is recommended that a contract for the Muddy Creek Minor plant improvements be awarded to Gilbert Engineering in the total amount of $954,634, with $50,000 to be available for contingency if needed, for a total of $1,004,633.
Two questions in here. One, how did our engineering estimate go so far in that? Any ideas?
Well, it's the nature of the contracting environment right now. We've seen this where bids are just coming in crazy high. Sometimes they hit the mark and sometimes they're.
Sometimes they don't. But we didn't see anything in there that made us think we missed something initially, or.
No, we actually, when we walked the site with the contractor, we clarified a few things, which was involved in that scope negotiation. No, there was nothing that was missed.
His bid sounded fair.
Yes, sir.
The second question, there's a huge disparity between the two bids we got. 1.7 million is significant.
Yeah.
And you didn't get many bidders, but we occasionally see that. And when you see that kind of difference, do you almost assume that Carolina Grading was just giving us a number and didn't really want it? Or
Well, look at item 5. Same thing on item 5.
on 5, I missed that.
Yeah, that's correct. We've seen them, they bid on a couple
Well,
of
the last one on
projects.
5.
Yeah,
Last two.
they've bid on a couple of projects other than these two, and it's been the same story with them. They've been way over everybody else. And they're a grading company. We think they're trying to kind of expand the field of construction that they do. Is the only thing that we can think of, because this is typical of what we've seen from them.
Okay.
When was the estimate established?
Could have been a lot.
It was,
It's been a while, maybe. So
Yeah.
that could have something to do with that too.
yeah, so this one, unfortunately, I wasn't involved when it was originally put out there, but I would say it's probably at least 6 to 9 months old.
Yeah, I can't see the screen, but I don't know if, Mike Stover, are you on the call still? Did you hear that question?
I am. The estimate has changed a couple times. There was an original estimate over a year ago, and then when we negotiated the settlement with MWH, we withdrew some of their scope of work and added it into this contract, and that increased the engineer's estimate. And that would have been about the same time that we settled. So I believe that was April or May-ish timeframe. So probably 6 months is pretty reasonable.
Thank you.
The value engineering effort, so what are we not doing?
There was some paving that was identified that could be taken out. There was a lot of seeding. Their contract included almost 14 acres of seeding, and we eliminated a lot of that work. There's this large drainage ditch that goes down the side here. I don't know if you noticed it coming in on the left, as you're coming in, it's on the left-hand side. The original scope was to basically lift and regrade that whole drainage area. And we ended up deciding that they could probably just go in and shoot a transit on the bottom as opposed to disturbing all that stone. There's some curb and gutting or curb and guttering that was taken out as well.
So I would think we still are gonna need to do that seating. Is that-
In just in specific areas. We eliminated what we didn't feel was necessary. There's one area in the middle of the plant that's pretty bare. We kept that in. But there were some on the hillsides that have pretty good cover that don't necessarily need to be sown grass.
Any more questions regarding any of the agenda items? If there are none, I would move to place all these items on the consent agenda. A motion for that? For approval on the consent agenda?
Approved.
Second.
I got a motion by Dwayne and second by Skip for approval. I guess roll call.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Eustache, Commissioner Griffin,
Yes.
Yes, yes,
thank you. Commissioner Hines,
Good.
Commissioner Jernigan,
Yes.
Commissioner Long,
Yes.
Commissioner Parker,
Affirmed.
Commissioner Wilson,
Yes.
Commissioner Younger.
Yes, and I apologize for being late.
Glad to see you.
You got a full house.
Glad you're both here. Very good. So all of the items are approved. And I guess, is there anything else on our agenda?
No, there's nothing else on the regular agenda.
Okay, so,
Anybody else have anything you want to discuss before we break and move into the next one?
Enjoy the tour.
Oh, we are very good.
Great tour.
Yeah.
Very good tour. You
Thank
two
you.
guys missed a great tour. All right.
Anytime you want to come out, we can schedule something for you, so.
Anything else for the commissioners? If not, I guess I'll entertain a motion for dismissal.
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second, I guess roll call. See you guys.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Eustache, Commissioner Griffin,
Yes.
Commissioner Hines,
yes,
Commissioner Jernigan,
Yes.
Commissioner Long,
Yes.
Commissioner Parker,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilson,
Yes.
Commissioner Younger.
Yes.
It looks like that's a unanimous yes, so we stand approved for dismissal.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you all.
It's like old TV.
Thank you.
Bleep 'em out.
Thank you.